going to pay for it? And funny, we stumbled over a donate button. Not just taxpayers, but you can actually, if you like, you can donate to the Coalition's nuclear energy plan. So there you go. But to scam of the week, well, that's obviously, scam of the year, the nuclear energy policy, but to scam of the week, it's a colourful week. All the politicians are back in Parliament House. And the highlight of the week was the uni-party bill. Yes, the Coalition and the government are calling it the greatest electoral reform in decades. Now, the word reform donates something good, doesn't it? It means something that's going to be better, is going to improve. But what is this thing? Well, all the independents were up in arms about it, of course, and the minor parties, because what's really going on here, the very design of this complicated bill is to actually curb the rise of independent candidates and entrench the two-party political racket. That's the whole point of it. There are some good things, and we'll get to those in a moment, but they cloak the bad things. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell below if you'd like to see more. As Helen Haynes, the Indie for Indi, the independent candidate for the electorate of Indi, put it, there's a lack of transparency and it entrenches a major party advantage over any new players. Helen pledges to reform this reform. It's a sneaky play by Albo and Dutton and their gangs, a shifty little move, this political donations, or payments as we like to call them, reform, because as we know, we live in a corporatocracy. But the good thing is, in a couple of months when they announce the election, we'll get the one chance we have in 3 years when we walk down to the polling booth on a Saturday to have our say, because the rest of the time, you just get that sense that somebody else is running the show. But to the good things in the magnificent electoral reform legislation, well, it keeps the billionaires sidelined a bit because the laws cap the amount that any one candidate can get. Now, that's a good thing because we'll look at the world's greatest plutocracy, our friend the US, where the Donald and Elon and the tech bros are busy cutting aid to give themselves tax breaks. Yes, we're talking about our best friends, our ally, which just this week declared it would smash us with steel and aluminium tariffs just after we slung them an $800 million unrefundable deposit on last century war technology, the submarines. But here's the rub. The party cap here in Australia actually went up to 90 million apiece for the majors. They actually lifted their own donations cap. Gave themselves a bit more largesse. But individual candidates, however, are capped at $800,000. Now, you can see the scam here, can't you? That the parties can spend all this money on their candidates as well as the money that their own candidates can raise. And they can spend relentlessly bagging the independent candidates and minor parties, as they do as well, who are up against the major party candidates. So it is a scam. It is a rort. And another 11th hour lurk in the legislation was to abandon the proposed $1,000 cap. You have to say who you are. It's the disclosure threshold if you donate any more than $1,000, according to this original legislation. So they promised to cut it from $16,000 where it is now, beneath which you don't have to disclose where the money's coming from, and was meant to go to $1,000, but 1 minute to midnight, they changed it to $5,000 disclosure. They hoiked it. Now we can call this the Peter Dutton amendment to the amendment, because there was obviously a little bit of horse trading going on between the Libs and Labor. The Simon Holmes court said, he's hardly a dispassionate observer, by the way, Simon, but he is 100% correct. The major parties, he said, have seen their primary votes fall from 96% in 1975 to 68% in 2022. They had two options to arrest this decline. One, win back trust with good government and good policy. Two, rig the system. Tonight, they chose to rig the system. Now, how this reform helps democracy, we have no idea. It doesn't. And as Holmes Court said, it's not the party structure that advantages you. It's having millions in assets, hundreds of millions for the Liberals, and a strong established brand and a relatively high primary vote, 20 to 60% in every electorate and every Senate race in the country. So it's a standing start, and they've just given themselves more money while capping the independents, the amount the independents can raise. It's a scam. Now, it has occurred to a couple of people that the Teals might have to lend a passing thought to the idea of starting a party. Then they can get their hands on 90 million. Just a thought. But the CBA, the biggest bank in the country, a sterling result from the CBA. It was an interim half-year profit, but it means they're making $10 billion in profit a year because it was $5.1 billion for the half. Now, you'll see this in the last video. Sort of buried the lead a little bit on this one because the lead is that nobody discusses the Committed Liquidity Facility, which is effectively the bailout fund, which I don't like the name, the bailout fund, of course. But yes, we, the taxpayers, are on the hook. The banks, unlike any other corporations, cannot go bust. So it's not really a private company in toto. It's more sort of private-ish. It was a good result. Matt Comer's obviously done an exceptional job compared to the other banks, but there you go. We own it. We own the risk. They own the profits. Now, the anti-Semitism scam of the week, and there's one every week. It's a terrific rort, the anti-Semitism. It was indubitably this week, the highlight, the apogee, the zenith of the anti-Semitism scam world was the Daily Telly, who packed off its reporter and a video crew to a kebab shop in Enmore in Sydney with a guy, along with a guy in tow in Israeli flag gear to try to incite a bit of racial hatred. So the provocateur in his Israeli gear and the Cairo takeaway shop tried to get a bit of hatred going, a few pesky questions, but Cairo takeaway people refused to bite. So he tried harder to make them angry, but to no avail. They kept their calm. The plot to stoke Semitism by the Daily Telly had been foiled. ACMA, you little regulators, are you listening to this? This is a plot by an Australian government-subsidised media company controlled by an American billionaire, backfiring in its efforts to stoke racial hatred. And they talk about social cohesion. Now, what's up with the coalition's nuclear scam these days then? Well, apart from the impossibility of finding detail on the website, they do have their independent experts report. Independent it is. AGL Energy came out this week. The share price shot up. AGL's got 4 million Australian customers. It's one of the big gentailers in energy, and it just announced that it signed off on more than $1 billion in new battery investments. And it is happily sticking to its power plant closures, its coal-fired power plant closure dates, which means it's happening. Nuclear is never, ever going to happen. It's a complete fantasy. So all this talk about costings is nonsense. It was also good for the tech bro Elon, who controls Tesla, and our local tech bro Mike Cannon-Brookes, who's making a lot of money out of his stake in AGL. Very savvy investment. The gap between reality and fantasy in politics has become a schism. It has never been deeper or wider. Now, just an important point for my own demographic, that's old white blokes who play golf. Okay, I don't play golf, but I fit the rest of the demographic description. Most of my friends do, of course. Golf, very important game. But this came up in Parliament this week. Were golf days going to be included in the long lunch policy, in the deductible lunches policy of the coalition, the uncosted policy? Now, we do know, which is a good thing, that strippers have been unequivocally ruled out. So taxpayers won't be funding the bill for strippers, and that's a good thing unless you're a stripper, but taxpayers won't be subsidising strippers, so that's clear, not even on golf days. But as Jim Chalmers pointed out,
no costings on long lunches, no costings on their nuclear fantasy to push up electricity prices, no costings on their raid on super, which will push up house prices, no costings for the golden ticket visa that he promised at a fundraiser, Mr Speaker. And they can't even get their story straight. The Leader of the Opposition says, of course, they'll cut 36,000 jobs. The Leader of the Nationals said yesterday they'll cut, quote, hardly any. The Leader of the Opposition says that golf days are not part of their long lunch policy. The Shadow Treasurer says that they're in. Now, this is worse than some kind of harmless shambles, Mr Speaker. It's a cuts and costings con job.
There were a few bumps in the fairway when it came to golf policy because the opposition leader, Peter Dutton, had ruled out golf. But Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor had ruled in golf. Was it another air swing by Angus? Who knows? Still very unclear, and it's soaking up a lot of parliamentary debating time. But thank you for your support. Please hit the bell, subscribe. It only means a notification when in the rare occurrence that we do an email, and like, share, and comment in the space below.